now going to go over your reading skill books, the tests that your students will take once they have practiced and you feel like they have mastered the reading content. Most teachers will try to test your child at least once a week. As the year goes on and things become easier and the students get used to it, they might be able to increase it and test your child more. You just kind of have to be patient and understand that there are a lot of kids per class, and so if your kid doesn't get tested more than once a week, that your teacher is trying, and if you have any questions or concerns, definitely talk to them and ask them about it. The reading skill books, there's a lot of different ones. It starts with the letter identification, so we know that they are aware of all the letters in the alphabet because they have to have that base knowledge before they can move on to matching the letters to the sounds. And then once they get the very good concrete knowledge of the sounds, then they're able to move on to actually manipulating those sounds and reading and putting words together, which is really the point we want to get them to. It might seem like your child is on the alphabet and the sounds for a long time, but we really want that to be a concrete foundational skill in order to build those higher level reading skills. We'll just start with showing you the letter identification test so you can kind of get an idea of it and see what your child will be taking at school. This is the letter identification test. The teacher will set all this up for your student, so he or she doesn't have to worry about any of this. We'll just use an example student. And then this is the screen they will see, and they know to start the test. They also know to
click on the picture that has the same beginning sound as
if they didn't hear
bell.
the question, because it will
Click
read
on
the
the
question
picture
aloud
that has
to
the
them.
same beginning sound as
and then
bell.
they can get it to repeat itself as many times as they want, as many times as they need it. But the key is to really listen to what they're asking and to really follow the directions. So this one wants them to click on the picture that has the same beginning sound as bell. So they really need to know what beginning is and be able to pick out that beginning sound, the first sound they hear in bell, bell. So they would need to go through each one. And if they click the picture,
wagon,
it will tell them what the picture is. So this would say wagon,
dog, pig, bird.
So they can go through and hear them all. They don't have to automatically know what each picture is because it will tell them. If they know that bird and bell have the same beginning sound, then they will click it.
Bird.
And it selects it, and then they will go on.
Click on the letter W.
The next one will tell them to click and find, might say, find the letter P. And it wants them to be able to identify out of the 4 of these letters, which one is P. They will click it and hit go on.
Click on the
then
letter
they go to
R.
lowercase because we need them to recognize uppercase and lowercase to be able to master those skills. They might say find the letter G, and they would have to know that this is a lowercase g, and none of these other ones could be a G. Sometimes people make their letters different, and I know parents with handwriting and things might. So I'd really try to stick closely to what your child brings home or what you see the teachers doing with handwriting practice, because usually that is what they'll be seeing at school. So they would click G, and they would have to know that is G in order to go on.
Click on the letter
it switches back
D.
to capital or uppercase. They might say find the letter X, and they would have to find which one of these is the letter X. If they forget because they're thinking about it, they can always click up here to the question mark or the speaker,
click
and it
on
will
the
remind
letter
them which
D.
one they're looking for. So they could click X, and we could go on.
Click
and it's going
on
to
the
go
letter
through every
L.
letter in the alphabet, all 26 uppercase, all 26 lowercase. Now that's a pretty long test for kids, but hopefully once they get that alphabet pretty quickly, that early skill, they'll be able to click the letters fast, and it usually doesn't take them very long if they know it, if they truly mastered the content. I'm going to go ahead and stop this one and show you another one, but this is what you will see your child taking here. for the matching letters. The sound one looks similar. Instead of saying find a C, they'll say find the letter that makes the K sound. Or they'll say find the letter that makes the ul sound. So they really have to know and be able to recognize the sounds when they hear them, even without an example of the word that says cat. They won't give them an example, they just give them the sound. So that might be how you want to practice at home. Okay, we'll go back into a different skill book just so you can kind of get an idea of what a different one might look like. We'll do phonological awareness. We'll do another. So
Click on the picture that has the same beginning sound as bell.
And they would know it's bird, hopefully, especially if because it'll be on the other test as well, so hopefully they'll have this one mastered.
Listen to the word possible.
Then it'll
Which
say,
picture
click
has
on the
the
one
same number of
that
word
sounds
parts as
the same
possible?
as fog. Which picture sounds the same as fog? So they could go on and click. This would say,
Telephone,
is it bone,
flower,
bowl, or dog?
Dog.
Which one sounds the same as fog? They would have to realize that
Dog.
will sound the same as dog and fog.
Look at the picture. Which picture rhymes mug? Mug.
So this one says, mug. So that's a picture of
Mug.
a mug. Then they will say,
look at the picture. Which picture rhymes with this picture?
They'll say, look at the picture. Which picture rhymes with this picture? If they don't know what this picture is of, that's why that little microphone is there. So they can click it and hear the word. And they know, oh, that's a mug. And then if they click down here, it'll tell them what these pictures are.
Mop, bug, leg, bed.
And they would have to be able to know that
mug
and
bug
rhyme and sound the same.
Look at the picture. Which picture rhymes with this picture? Bell.
So they want you to look at the picture and figure out which one rhymes with bell. They forget that sound, they can hear it as much as they need to.
Bell.
Bell. So they can click
ship, shell, cup, hill.
So this has an L at the end, which is where it might get tricky, but they should know rhymings have the same endings. So hill is ill, while bell is L. So E-L-L and I-L-L. So they really have to be able to pick out the same ending sound. Even if it sounds similar, they have to know the difference. So it would be shell.
Listen to the sounds. Vol, K, no. Click on the picture word that says vol, K, no. Blended together. Tornado, Valentine, potato, volcano.
So here it is wanting them to be able to sound out a word and then be able to go and put those sounds together to make the whole word. So they sound it out for them, volcano. And then they have to realize that once you put all those sounds together, the word will be volcano. And this is the one they would want to pick.
Listen to the sounds mo, ter, si, kul. Click on the picture word that says mo, ter, si, kul. Blended together.
So
helicopter, monster, hospital, motorcycle.
So they would have to pick out motorcycle, blended together.
Listen to the word funny. Which picture has the same number of word parts as funny?
So on this one, you might have been studying syllables, and they're calling it word parts. So when your child hears word parts, they may not understand it as the same thing as syllable, which is where terminology becomes such, and vocabulary is a huge thing in these skill books. So just be very, I would say, different terms, so they kind of hear them all and are familiar with them all, because you just never know what teacher might call it, what a test might call it, where they might hear it somewhere else. So I would just make them familiar with all terms. And if they can go back and hear it again.
Listen to the word funny.
Funny.
Which picture has the same number of word parts as funny?
So they would have to decide how many funny has first, which is funny, is usually how they do it with claps. And then go through and see which of these other ones will have only 2 word parts or syllables.
Tree.
Tree. No.
Mountain.
Mountain. That one has 2.
Chair.
Chair.
Octopus.
Octopus. That has 3. So they would have to realize that this one,
Tree,
this one, and this one
octopus
do not have the same number, but volcano does.
Mountain.
And be able to make that connection between the 2.
Listen to the sounds. Finger. Click on the picture word that says finger, blended together.
So you have
finger, sweater, tiger, flip-flop.
So they would have to hear that they are saying finger, because sometimes students have a hard time when words are sounded out and split apart, putting them back together and being able to hear those sounds and know what they're even saying out loud when they're trying to read.
Finger. Look at the picture. Which picture rhymes with this picture? King.
So this one says which one rhymes, so they can hear king.
King.
And then they can click these to see which one's going to sound the same, have the same ending.
Rat. Pig. Ring. Drum.
So hopefully they would know it is
king
and
ring.
King and ring.
Look at the picture. Which picture rhymes with this picture? Clock. Cake. Lemon. Flock. Clothes.
So this is I'm going to stop here, but that was just so you understand some of the terminology and some of the differences and where some of the confusion might come in. If your student, you think they've mastered it and then they're coming to school and not passing, it might be some of those things you can tweak and change at home that'll help them here at school. So just think about terminology, different ways to see it and say it, instead of just saying how many does syllables or word parts does cat have, say, well, can you think of another word that has the same number of syllables as cat? What about that? And so they kind of make those connections between the two, and just aren't seeing it in one way. And like I said, if you have any questions or need anything, you can refer back to these videos and see the examples. Write your teacher a quick email or a note to answer any questions you may have. So these skill books become a great learning tool and help your child succeed in kindergarten and first grade.